on the Muskegon Channel. Andy O'Reilly, Dave Cackley. If you could only hear what happens before the camera rolls, right?
You made my face hurt. That was so funny.
Oh, man.
Oh.
It's a Monday. We had our first weekend of incredible pig racing up at Lewis's Farms, which the action was fast. It was furious. The crowds were a little on the light side because when it's apparently 90 degrees, not everybody's racing to the farm for fall activities. Nonetheless, I plowed through. There were a couple of shows that felt like you were doing stand-up comedy to a room full of 3 people, which
Let me ask you
know
that.
enough stand-ups to know that's not comfortable.
Yeah,
but I persevered.
What time were the races at?
Noon, 2 and 4.
Noon, 2 and 4. Noon's not a bad time.
See, you could make it up there for that.
2 is two. You would have thought would have had more because the Lions game wasn't on until 4. Noon is okay because that's before the game. Yeah,
even the Lions don't even watch anymore.
People are still watching. It's the NFL.
You know what?
So you got to understand how the schedule. At noon, you're going to have probably a bigger crowd at noon than you're going to have at any other time.
Right.
Just because that's before football starts.
Do you want to know what's going on?
Go ahead.
Nobody's driving fast in Detroit anymore. You know why?
Why?
Because the cops are giving out Lions tickets.
See, that wasn't as funny as what you. Yeah, really. It's too easy and obvious.
2 did really good. 4 o'clock. We need to get a couple more weeks into the season and maybe drop it down 20 degrees.
Yeah, probably. Good idea.
A good time was had by all. And you, I would imagine you probably.
Oh,
took your liver to school.
I did that on Saturday. That was a good 5 scotch night.
Ooh.
So yeah, because Max was out camping, so I didn't have him most of Saturday. So it's like, what do I do? Daddy's gonna drink a bit.
Yep.
So I did that. And then on Sunday, I went to the local Uccello's in Caledonia, and I watched football for about 5 hours. Enjoyed a pizza, enjoyed a couple of beverages, and a chocolate fudge cake with ice cream. And it was awesome. It was a great Sunday.
And what kind of tip did you leave?
I left a $5 tip on a $20 meal.
And how long were you in the booth?
$25. I wasn't at the booth. I was at the bar.
Okay.
Sitting at the bar for about 5 hours. So it was $1 an hour for a tip. But it was a $20 food purchase. So, and I left a $5 tip, which is 25%, which is very, very good.
Dude, you got to factor in the time you
I
sat
left
there.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
Hey,
because they're not turning that over.
Listen. I'm only telling you this stuff because it's your name you're ruining.
I'm not ruining my name.
You're the dick, okay?
You're the
one that when you walk out of the place, they all go, that Dave Cackley from TV, he's a cheap son of a bitch. I don't care.
25% tip is a 25% tip. You got a 25% tip.
Not over 5 hours, it's not.
Yeah, shut up.
She should have turned that seat over 5 or 6 times.
No, you're not gonna turn that seat over 5 or 6 times during an NFL Sunday. That's where they make all their money off you're not making your money off me because I'm not buying a ton of drinks. People are buying a ton of drinks who are going to be paying more than I am. That's different. I spent $20. I tossed you $5 for your troubles.
So
that's
get
a 25%
your ass out of the seat and let somebody else have it.
No, because I'm watching football. Not till the end of the game. And then I will get out of the seat. It wasn't 5 hours. It's actually closer to 4 that I was actually there watching football. So I was there actually a little before 1 until about 4:30.
Listen.
So not even 4 hours.
You're the one whose food they're spitting on behind the scenes.
No, they're not. They like me. They like me there. They're good people.
Sure they do.
All right. Let's get into it. Ready? All right. California professors accusing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. Christine Ford claims Kavanaugh was drunk at a party when? In the 1980s, and tried to force himself on her. Kavanaugh denies the claim. Ford never reported the alleged incident, and multiple FBI background checks uncovered nothing. I don't know if this happened or not. She's evidently, her lawyer says she's planning on testifying to Congress. To me, and I could be wrong, maybe this did happen. If it did happen, horrible, but it seems politically motivated to me. They've known about this this alleged accusation that never got reported, that's over 30 years old, has been known about for months, and it was sat on. Why? because we're close to the midterms. Now you bring it out now. I get why they're doing it. Totally get why they're doing it. You want to drive up the votes for the midterms, but this doesn't sit right with me. But I understand it as being part of the dirty political process. So whatever, he's still going to get confirmed. Yeah, I agree. It's all wrong.
Honestly, you know what? I'll give you.
It's politics. What do you?
I'll tell you.
Don't be in the business.
Just frosted my ass this last weekend.
Go ahead.
I watch so little regular television anymore. I'm at the point now where I'm honestly debating continuing to pay for cable.
Oh, I totally understand that.
Seriously thinking, why am I still paying for this? I just don't watch enough. So one of the things that I look forward to every week, and it's appointment viewing. It's something that I need and I want, and I say this with all kidding aside. CBS Sunday Morning, love it. I love the way they report. I love the stories. I love the insight. I love the human factor of it all. They're great stories. They're the kind of stories I aspire to tell when I do my things for Positively and the Muskegon Channel. You hear great stories. You hear wonderful people. You hear inspiring things. And then as soon as they go to break, you hear Bill Schuette crapping all over Gretchen Whitmer, or you hear it just ruins the whole show. It's awful. Give me an hour and a half a week that I can avoid that on television, please. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask? Seriously, is it?
No, it's you're never gonna avoid it because it's become people's religion to an extent.
Ugh.
Some people have decided that they don't know what to do with themselves, so they're going to glom onto a particular candidate.
Yep.
And this is their deity. This is who they're going to. They're praying at the altar of whomever, whether it's Trump, whether it's you name it.
And
honestly, Bernie Sanders, whether it's John.
I know I sound like I'm a 78-year-old guy pissing and moaning about CBS Sunday Morning. Then you just turn it off. I would just say just turn it off. Then I don't bitch about it. I just kind of ignore it. I don't care, and it's much better. And another thing is stay off social media on the weekends. Yeah. That's a good. I pretty much take a break from anything and everything related to news or information on Saturdays or Sundays. That's right. You know what? I don't need it unless, some catastrophe. And, in Florence was bad, but it was category 1 bad. So that's not category 4, category 5 bad. So, what am I supposed to do? Here's some money to the Red Cross. That's good. There you go.
Anyway. What else is going on? Former presidential candidate John Kerry is getting criticized for comparing President Trump to a teenage girl. During an interview on Real Time with Bill Maher, Kerry said Trump has the maturity of an 8-year-old boy and the insecurity of a teenage girl. Now, many on the left apparently took issue with the teenage girl comment. I mean, it's a pseudo comedy show. It's Bill Maher. He's trying to be funny. It was actually kind of funny. I don't like John Kerry. I've never been a Kerry fan, but it was kind of funny. And Kerry, of course, not ruling out a run for president in 2020 because we got to recycle all these candidates because there's nothing new under the sun. But I mean, okay, compared Trump to a teen, he's kind of right. That's kind of what Trump is. He's kind of like a teenage girl concerned about his tweets and his likes. And, is that what's wrong with that comparison?
Speaking of pseudo comedy shows, remember Friday you brought up Norm McDonald has a show?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know.
Offside said it was awesome. I talked to Offside. It's like he said, he interviewed David Spade. They basically crapped on each other for half hours.
If you like Norm McDonald, right? But Spade sat there the entire time with this look on his face, like, am I getting joked on here? Is this a sucker thing?
Yeah, because that's what Norm does.
And then I sat around and watched too for Drew Barrymore, and I mean, Norm is coming from so far out of left field with everything that people are just like, huh? So I don't know if it's an act or if it's Norm McDonald has just gone that far out into the giggly womps or whatever, but it was different.
It was. If you liked his podcast,
Spade was funny. I'll give him that.
Spade is funny. Yeah, Spade is good, and you get those two together, and Norm is. Like, if you don't get Norm, you don't get it. It's just not going to be your thing. But if you like Norm, if you get Norm, if you're into that type of comedy. And I like the fact that he stays away from the political because that just all that stuff annoys me now. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've not
some
caught
of the
any
other
of it
guests
yet,
coming up, like Judge Judy.
Yeah, Jane Fonda will.
I don't want to hear.
I heard Judge Judy. The Judge Judy one was supposedly really good. The Jane Fonda one, I guess, was interesting. He's gonna have Letterman coming up. He's gonna have Lorne Michael. I'm interested in the Lorne Michaels interview. That's the guy that created Saturday Night Live, and subsequently stood there while Norm got fired from Weekend Update. So that'll be interesting. People forget this. Norm actually coined the phrase fake news back in the late 90s. He'd say, when he'd start and now the fake news, and now everybody's saying it all the time.
That's right.
Too bad he doesn't make money off it. Anyway, what else is going on? Muskegon Big Reds remained undefeated, absolutely destroying Kennewood Hills last Friday, 72-14. I think people in Muskegon really have to take a minute to just appreciate what that football program has brought to the community. I mean, the sense of pride in because they're not just beating teams, they're decimating, destroying teams.
Yeah.
And it is a national high school powerhouse.
Absolutely.
This team can hang with anybody, and you got a lot of guys who are going to be making some bank in the not too distant future from the Muskegon area. So good for those kids. And it's, like I said, great for the community. Get out and support them on Friday nights, because you'll be able to say, I saw them win.
Yep.
And just really a great source of pride for the whole area. Good for them. Lions, not so much. They come from behind and lose to Frisco 30-27, dropping 0-2 on the season. This could be a long year. I mean, as long a summer as it was and continues to be for Tiger fans, and as bad as the Red Wings were and as mediocre as the Pistons were, I mean, God, you need to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and we're just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Michigan won over the way. They beat the Sisters of the Poor 45-20, otherwise known as SMU. So way to go, Wolverines.
Go blue.
Whatever. All right.
Tiger split a pair over the weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's over.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
Because we're coming back. We're going up
$20
over the top of 500, my friend, and that's how it's going to be. Start polishing
maybe
up that
middle
20.
of next year. Sometime in 2019, they might be 500.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Right. We'll see you.